Hi guys, White Witch 110 here. I thought you might be interested in where I get some of my information besides the internet in regards to the hauntings. I took out, I guess, all of my books that I use. Some of them, anyways, that I use. Like I say, I need a bigger space. Okay. Whoops, sorry about that. There we go. One of them that I've used is Spooky Canada. This one I used for the Lord Dufferin story. Actually, this is one of my favorite stories. Most definitely. It is. And then we have another one. Let's see. Creepy Capital. Sorry. I've used that one. And oh, I gotta put these somewhere. Hang on. Another one is Ontario Ghost Stories. This one was for Hockey Hall of Fame. And oh, that one I haven't done yet. And Haunted Ontario #4. This one was for the U of T. And this one also has the Hockey Hall of Fame. And then there's this big one. The Big Book of Canadian Hauntings. That's really thick. What did I use this one for? Mackenzie King Estates and Mackenzie House. Yes. And then, of course, Haunted Ontario #3 I used. I took the markers out of that one. But those are some of the ones that I've used for hauntings here. Some of my other books that I have in regards to ghosts. I have this one here, Field Guide. There we go. And this one from Jeff Belanger, or as they say up here, Belanger. I believe this one does have some Canadian hauntings in it. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. Must be the other one of his. And okay, that one I showed you. And there's this one. I got it on sale. That's Paul Rowland. Which ones are... Some of these I haven't looked at in a bit, so I'm not... This one has all different ones. And then another one from Jeff Belanger. He is the one that does all of the checking on things regarding hauntings for Ghost Adventures. Research, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, here he broke it down to Western Canada, Central, and Eastern. Yeah, that's his little section on Canada. And then this humongous book, Ghosts, by, I believe they say, he was the godfather of hauntings. True Encounters with the World Beyond, Hans Holzer. And there is now a program on TV in regards to him. they play his old tapes, and then they go in and reinvestigate and then place their findings with his. And his daughter is part of it as well. Now, why do I have that? Yes, there was one story in here. It's about the Whaley House. Now, some of you may remember, it is coming back on TV, the Celebrity Ghost Stories. He was featured in regards to the Whaley House, and the information that he gave as to what's in this book are two totally different things. In the program, he mentions being with an old army buddy, and they see the spirit. But in here, it's more like it's his wife that's with him. So there are just a few things that didn't jive. But that's the same with a couple of different ones. There's one that was on, I believe it was both Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters. And they've also been on other programs. It's about a Victorian home that's haunted, and there's a couple that owns it. In one, it tells you that there's a boy seen and that they feel that there's an entity there. But when you watch another one, they're talking about a nursery in the house. And that was never mentioned on the two programs that I watched. And there's also another, I can't remember the name of the place now, but it was a bordello. And a gentleman bought the building because he felt compelled to buy it, finding out through one program that he is the reincarnation of the man who originally owned the building. And that man came from Montreal, Quebec. But when they were featured in this one here, the gentleman and his two friends, a male and a female, are like the victims, like what's going on, what's happening. They didn't know. But when they were on the next program I seen them on, the girl was claiming to hear a spirit of, I think it was a judge, and then she looked as though she was being possessed by this spirit. So it's two totally opposites, going from what's going on to our friend to he knows you're here. He doesn't like you here. That's when you start really considering, are these people who are showing up on multiple programs and just the slightest difference in their stories, they're just doing it to get the money. There may in fact be a haunting there, but they've just blown it so out of proportion that you start to really second guess them as to the tale that they're telling. Those were just two of them that offhand I remember. But you just see that the more that the people tell it, the more little changes are made. And you start to wonder how much they're getting paid for each of these programs that are contacting them to tell their story, to come in. And I would imagine some of them, they actually do go into the location and film. Who's to say? But those are just a couple of ones that I thought were a little off. But I'm looking forward, to the new season of it. But for when I'm looking at, I can't remember, her first name is Kim. I can't remember her last name now. She had her own program, The Haunting of, and it looks like she is going to be the host of the program, or hostess of the program. But there are quite a few new paranormal programs coming out. Of course, Ghost Hunters is back on, and Ghost Hunters and Ghost Nation. That's the one that Jason's part of. So it's really interesting. Paranormal Caught on Camera. that's a good program to watch. Some of it is very interesting. Other parts, you look at it and you can start picking apart different things and like, I don't know, that could easily be done this way or that could easily be done that way. And then you tend to start second guessing if the executives, directors, producers, whomever, are they really looking at these videos and looking at them from a debunking? Because if you have people who are interested in the paranormal that are watching your program, that's who's going to tune in. Mind you, there may be people with a new interest that are coming in, but those that have had an interest for quite a while, like myself, you can look at them and start taking them apart. I'm not saying every single video they show you can do that, but there are a few that you definitely can. And of course, a grain of salt, because there is so much that can be done with computers now and adding different things in. And we're taking their word, which I'm hoping is true, that nothing has been done to the footage that you're seeing, that it actually is and hasn't been tampered with. What can you do? Some cases, like one I watched yesterday, the person's reaction seems so genuine. But actors are made to make stuff look genuine. So, again, you really have to use your gut and go by that as to whether you believe what you're seeing or how they're reacting in the film. One person, not going to mention names, but was caught out doing this, setting stuff up. I had already figured out quite easily that everything was set up because too many things were happening too quickly. And panning of the camera was just like you hear something you want to right away, but it was just that hesitation. It was enough for somebody to move out of the way or, just step back or whatever. So then you're starting to think maybe that person did it just so that they can boost themselves. I don't know. But that just makes you aware. You start looking at it and like, well, how come they didn't snap around right away? Or in one case, that person was there, but where are they now? They were with the group, but now they're not with the group. And nobody said where this person is. Like, the audience that you're getting, I believe, are quite informed, quite smart in situations like this. If it's just for pure entertainment, go and have at it. It's good entertainment. But for people who want to be serious about it, sometimes that takes away from it. But in that case, you just choose who you want to watch, that's all. Right? You don't like it, you don't have to watch it. Exactly. With EVPs, those are the things that interest me the most. I know a lot of people have different opinions on ghost boxes. Myself, if it's bringing you a response to what you're asking, I say that's cool. And in that case, I would believe it. Can this all be set up? Sure it can, to a point. And in other cases, no. I don't totally understand how this stuff works. Maybe somebody's off somewhere and they're listening and they're talking into something which is going into whatever box they have, right? Who knows? Here in Ottawa, I love going on the Haunted Walk. Their guides are terrific at what they do. Very animated when they're telling the stories. Really get into it. It's a pleasure. But as everyone now, if you haven't, go check the videos out. I believe they're still up. Is the investigation of Laurier House. That wasn't what I had personally anticipated. I thought that we would be taken in. They would explain, maybe have some stuff for us to use, and we would go off on our own and then come back and tell them what we felt or what we found or what, evidence we had. That wasn't the case. We did start out together. It did start out very well with, as I had explained, with the cards, the wavy lines, the star, I think, and the square, and setting that up. My stepdaughter and her husband, exactly the same as our guide, which I'm sure freaked the guy out. So there were different things, and our own personal experiences within the home are the ones that I believe and I count on. Where they went wrong was at the end of the evening, where they had us all back together, supposedly doing a seance. What the guide didn't count on was my picking up on what I did. And that was kind of pushing off their setup for what was going to happen. So I didn't do it intentionally because I didn't know what was going to happen. But at the end of the night, there were just too many things, one after the other. And that's when it kind of ruins it, because I believe people are, myself, I was going there to do an actual investigation, which it didn't turn out to be. It was for entertainment purposes, in the most part, which I can understand, because maybe they can't have people going off on their own, because you never know what people are going to do when they're left to their own devices in a historic home like that. There are certain areas you can't go into, certain doors you can't open, and some people just may take it upon themselves to do that. So I totally understand it. It didn't lessen my thoughts on the Haunted Walk here, because the stories that they do tell on their tours are very interesting, very much so, and they do it so well, and they're taking you to places where you can feel it yourself, that there's something there. As with my paranormal experiences that I told last October, hubby and I felt and seen things at the Mackenzie King Estates. And that is a place which constantly I feel drawn to because of the experiences we've had there. As our friend Mel, when she went with us, she feels compelled to go there as well. But her connection is through her, I believe it was her grandmother and grandfather. I don't want to tell the story because I may get something wrong. But, so something like that, where you really feel a connection to it. Laurier House, would I do that one again? I would. I would put the money aside to do it. Just to see if I had the exact same experiences, or if I experienced something different. I wouldn't count on what the guide was telling me. I mean, I would listen to his stories, yes, but I would be wanting to know if I'm going to experience the same thing or something different. I definitely did not feel Mackenzie King there very much at all. I believe his spirit is definitely on his estate. I felt more Laurier's, or the original owners, whose name now totally I forget. They were silversmiths, I believe. They're more attached to the house, in my opinion, anyways. Someone else may have felt differently, but that's how I felt. But, yeah, so that's just a little bit about where I get some of my information from, the books I have. I honestly thought I had more, but there is one that's missing. and it's from The Haunted Walk, the gentleman Glenn Shackleton, who is the founder of it. It was the hauntings in Kingston, and then there's also one for Ottawa. And I've been asking them if he's going to do one for Toronto, because I really would like to have that one. My Ottawa haunting, actually, I sent to my friend Keith, Urban Paranormal. Check out his channel. I sent him one for that in Kingston for him to have and to read at his own leisure. Maybe sometime, some point, when right now he's doing episodes on hauntings in Liverpool, where he lives, and I've been finding them quite interesting. And maybe sometime in the future he may use those if he does episodes on Canadian hauntings. Who knows? But anyways, thank you for coming by. I thought this might be a little something different. Maybe another day I'll show you some other books I have where I get information from. But to all my loyal subscribers, thank you for coming by this afternoon, checking out what I'm talking about today. And if you're new, and if this subject interests you, please check out my other videos in regards to my own personal experiences and those of historic haunts, and some of the other ones that I've been doing lately. I had been concentrating on Ontario, but now I've done some for Alberta and BC. So eventually I would like to just give you a mishmash of across Canada. So if you're new, check those out as well if you'd like. Give them a thumbs up if you like them. I also have other videos there on other subjects. Please check them out. Leave me a comment. I will get back to you. And if you think anyone you know might be interested, by all means, share it out. Consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell so that you know when I upload. And for today, I guess that'll be it right now. I haven't got any of my craft stuff actually together as yet. It's basically all just there. Oh, no. Oh, cat puking. Sorry about that. Well, he puked on the top sheet on the bed, so that's been put away into the laundry. So hubby'll have to get a new top sheet. Anyways, that's it for this afternoon, and as always, ciao for now.